Have you ever visited Singapore and felt like you entered a completely different world? In 2025, as globalization connects cultures like never before, many Americans visiting the Lion City still find some Singaporean habits truly fascinating and sometimes downright puzzling. From strict cleanliness rules to unique eating traditions, Singaporeans live by customs that reflect discipline, respect, and innovation. But to many Americans, these everyday behaviors seem unusual or even shocking. In this video, we'll uncover 10 surprising habits Americans find strange about Singaporeans in 2025. Some of them will make you laugh, others will make you rethink what normal really means. So, are you ready to explore how two of the world's most modern societies can still be worlds apart? Let's begin. The cleanliness obsession. Why are Singaporeans so obsessed with cleanliness? For Americans, public spaces often show a mix of order and casual behavior. But in Singapore, it's a national mission to keep everything spotless. The country is famous for its no littering, no spitting, and even no chewing gum laws. In fact, chewing gum has been banned since the early 90s, and that rule still shocks American tourists in 2025. Singaporeans believe that cleanliness reflects respect for their environment, their community, and their nation. You'll find residents wiping tables after eating, returning trays in hawker centers, and scolding anyone who leaves trash behind. To Americans, this strictness feels extreme, like living in a city where neatness is a legal requirement. Yet, it's this discipline that gives Singapore its futuristic glow. Streets sparkle, public transport smells clean, and even restrooms are maintained like hotel facilities. What Americans often see as over-regulation, Singaporeans see as pride. Eating at hawker centers. Why do Singaporeans prefer eating at hawker centers instead of restaurants? Americans are used to dining out at branded restaurants, where presentation and comfort matter. But Singaporeans find comfort in their hawker culture, open-air food courts serving affordable, flavorful dishes from every ethnic group. Americans visiting for the first time are often shocked at how locals queue patiently under the heat for chicken rice or laksa. To them it looks like street food, but to Singaporeans, it's heritage. In 2025, hawker centers remain at the heart of daily life, offering meals that cost less than a fast food combo in the US. Many Americans are amazed to see CEOs, students, and retirees sharing tables. Status disappears at a hawker center. What feels informal to Americans is actually a symbol of unity for Singaporeans. And when you taste the food, you realize why. It's world-class, UNESCO-recognized, and full of heart. The chope-ing culture. Why do Singaporeans leave tissue packets on tables before eating? For Americans, it's confusing. In Singapore, if you see a packet of tissues or an umbrella on a table, it means the seat is reserved. This habit, known as chope-ing, is something Americans struggle to understand. In the US, saving a spot usually requires a person physically sitting there. But in Singapore, a simple object does the job. To outsiders, it might look rude or even strange, but for Singaporeans, it's efficient and accepted. It's about trust. No one touches your tissue, and everyone respects the signal. Americans often laugh at it first, but soon they realize how this unspoken rule keeps things organized even in crowded spaces. It's a small act that represents Singapore's orderliness and mutual respect, something Americans could find surprisingly admirable. Mixing languages. Singlish. Why do Singaporeans mix English, Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil in one sentence? When Americans hear Singlish for the first time, they're often lost. It sounds like English, but with extra words and rhythms that make it uniquely local. Phrases like can or not, or don't play la, sound funny to Americans who are used to grammatically correct English. But Singlish isn't broken English, it's a cultural expression shaped by decades of multicultural blending. In 2025, Singlish thrives as a symbol of identity. Even government officials who once discouraged it now accept it as part of Singapore's soul. Americans may find it strange that a highly educated nation loves to bend language rules, but that's the beauty of Singapore. It's efficient, expressive, and uniquely Asian. Singlish connects people beyond race and class, making it one of the quirkiest habits Americans encounter. Obsession with efficiency. Why do Singaporeans walk so fast and do everything with precision? For Americans visiting Singapore, the pace of life feels almost robotic. Everyone seems to be in a rush, walking briskly, tapping MRT cards in seconds, and even ordering food through automated kiosks. Singaporeans hate wasting time, and their society is built on efficiency. It's no surprise that their public transport, administration, and even airport customs run smoother than most US systems. Americans often find this intensity surprising. In the US, flexibility and taking it easy are part of the culture. But in Singapore, time is money isn't just a saying, it's a mindset. The habit of punctuality and structured routines might look rigid, but it's also what made Singapore one of the world's top economies in just a few decades. Respect for rules. Why do Singaporeans follow rules so strictly? To many Americans, freedom means bending the rules when necessary. But in Singapore, rules are sacred. From not eating in trains to crossing only at designated spots, citizens follow regulations like second nature. Americans might find it strange that people actually fear fines, but in Singapore, laws keep order and fairness. In 2025, the nation's low crime rate and safety standards remain unmatched. You can walk alone at midnight without fear. Americans, used to casual behavior and a culture of personal liberty, sometimes feel uncomfortable with this level of social control. Yet, they can't deny the results: a clean, safe, and efficient city that runs like clockwork. Public affection rules. Why are Singaporeans less expressive in public? For Americans, holding hands, hugging, or kissing in public is normal. But in Singapore, public affection is still seen as private. You'll rarely see couples displaying love openly, especially among older generations. Americans might interpret this as coldness, but it's actually about respect for others' comfort and maintaining modesty in public spaces. Even though younger Singaporeans are becoming more westernized, the core value of restraint remains strong. In 2025, social norms still encourage balance between expression and etiquette. To Americans, it may feel formal, but for Singaporeans, it's just about harmony and social respect. Queuing culture. Why do Singaporeans love to queue? In the US, many people dislike waiting, but in Singapore, queues are everywhere. For bubble tea, for new gadgets, for hawker food. The sight of long, organized lines is something Americans find both fascinating and funny. Singaporeans see queuing as a fair system. Everyone waits their turn, and cutting the line is a huge social sin. Americans often joke that Singaporeans will queue for anything popular, even if they don't know what's at the end. But this patience reflects deeper cultural values: discipline, fairness, and order. To Americans, it's strange. To Singaporeans, it's just common sense. Government efficiency and trust. Why do Singaporeans trust their government so much? Americans are known for questioning authority and expressing skepticism, but in Singapore, the government is viewed as competent, transparent, and trustworthy. Citizens expect policies to work, and they usually do. From digital healthcare to smart nation initiatives, Singapore's government delivers results that impress the world. To Americans, this level of trust feels almost too good to be true. They often wonder how a small city-state can maintain such efficiency without chaos. But Singapore's social contract is simple. The government takes care of the people, and the people respect the system. This mutual trust is what Americans often find both inspiring and strange. Avoiding confrontation. Why do Singaporeans avoid arguments and open conflicts? Americans are used to open debates, voicing opinions loudly, and defending personal freedom. In contrast, Singaporeans prefer diplomacy and quiet solutions. You'll rarely see shouting matches in public. Disagreements are handled politely or indirectly, which can confuse Americans who value directness. In 2025, this cultural habit continues to define Singaporean society. It's rooted in Asian harmony, the idea that peace is more important than pride. Americans might call it passive, but in reality, it's wisdom. It keeps relationships smooth and society peaceful in one of the world's most diverse populations. So what do these habits tell us about Singaporeans? They reveal a culture that values respect, order, and unity, qualities that may seem strange to outsiders, but are the foundation of Singapore's success. For Americans, visiting Singapore can feel like stepping into the future, where everything runs smoothly and traditions coexist with technology. But beneath the rules and routines lies a warm, community-driven society that takes pride in doing things right. In the end, these differences aren't barriers, they're lessons about discipline, harmony, and cultural pride. So the next time you meet a Singaporean, don't be surprised by their habits, be inspired by them. If you enjoyed exploring these cultural contrasts, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Infosphere for more fascinating videos about global cultures and the people who make our world so unique.